But it really doesn't matter with me now because I've been to the mountaintop. I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life. Longevity has its place. But I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will. And He's allowed me to go up to the mountain. And I've looked over and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but I want you to know tonight that we as a people will get to the promised land. So I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord.
All right, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, and good night. Hello, everybody. It's Monday.
Jeg snakker ikke om en dum selvtillit.
Hold on, be quiet. It's Monday, January COVID-19th, 2026. This is an IPS Fakeologist joint session where we bring two of the most advanced media fakery, media deconstruction analysts in the world together with their raft, with their fantastic chatters and commenters and listeners. That'd be you guys. Welcome, Tim Ozman. Hello.
Hey, thanks for having me. And
yes, great.
This is I guess this would be the 57th perhaps anniversary of MLK Day.
Yeah, was it 65? It says here. I don't know. I don't know my history.
Well, he was assassinated in 68. So this would be this year will be the 57th.
I'll be the 58th.
No, 58th. That's right.
Yeah, I know, because I'm 1 year older than that. I'm sad to say, but yeah, congratulations. It says here Trump is the first president not to acknowledge MLK Day. Well, for all you. I like Trump and I like the fact that he's a disruptor, but you wanted a disruptor, you got one.
Yeah.
Why should he be like the others if he says whatever the status quo was not working? So you're getting something different, and not everyone, but enough people are complaining. I like it personally.
It fits a pattern though, where he's a martyr to the left and to the right. He's some kind of a villain. Even Charlie Kirk villainized MLK quite a lot. There's a compilation of it, but they'll conveniently use certain phrases from him. But obviously it fits a pattern because you started off here in the title saying, was it faked?
Yes.
And, because it fits so well into the pattern, even though I don't have a ton of information about the details, I think it's reasonable to say so. And he was brought up recently in the context of Charlie Kirk's death, and both of them were shot with the 30-06. I think the bullet remained lodged in each of them. But I was looking, what are the commonalities? And the last time he was a conversation was when Trump first went to court, when he was being charged with 34 counts of business fraud or something. That was on the 55th anniversary of MLK's assassination, April the 4th. And at the time, I was looking at this with interest because we had just seen the beating death of Terry Nichols, who was beaten in a way reminiscent of Rodney King. So I'm like, okay, there's a King theme. Well, Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter shows up at the Terry Nichols protests, and they shut down I-55. So I'm like, okay, there's something going on here. It's integrated into this bigger story that ties into BLM. And it has certain code in there. A king, for example, is a pretty obvious one. So my take on it, just based on the context, is that this was a couple months before RFK was killed, just 5 years after JFK. I think it's another fake assassination. What do you think?
Absolutely. And I played this yesterday that I have on the screen. Mike Wallace interviews the King family at their home in 1968 at Christmas time. Well, why don't we just watch a bit of this for duping delight? Have you ever seen this?
No, play it.
60 minutes, rewind.
before I was a fakeologist.
In April of this year, America, the world, was stunned by the killing of Dr. Martin Luther King. In December, at Christmas time, 60 Minutes went to the King home in Atlanta, Georgia, to see how his family was faring. We visited last Saturday with Coretta King and her 4 children. Mrs. King, I wonder if you'd introduce your family to us.
This is Dexter Scott.
And how old are you, Dexter?
7.
Now, this fellow over here.
This is Martin Luther III. We call him Marty.
And how old are you, Marty?
I'm 11 years old.
These children can't stop smiling. I think their dad's behind the Christmas tree.
Imagine, of course, that you bear your name with great pride, your father's name. But are there ever any difficulties because you are Martin Luther King?
I think children under a certain age, it's really hard for them to lie, or when they know something's up.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is a reoccurring theme with these.
Speed it up a little, Diane.
Yeah, speed it up a little bit. But yeah, he doesn't look distraught.
I can speed it up.
Well, sometimes there are difficulties, but most of the times they aren't. Because, well, most of the times there aren't any difficulties, but sometimes there are.
What kind of thing?
Well, like sometimes people ask me my father's name, and sometimes they tease me about my name and things like that.
Mm-hmm. But mostly
Most of the time nobody teases me anything.
Have you decided what you're going to do when you grow up?
I want to be a preacher like my father.
You do?
Yeah.
And this is Bunny.
Yes.
And what are you expecting for Christmas, Bunny?
A bicycle.
Anyway, I just thought it's just dupe and delight all over the place, I think.
Yeah, it could be.
By the children.
I mean, one of the things that got me to look at media very critically was I had just gotten out of a job in the funeral industry. I was used to being around, the bereaved.
Okay. And what were they like?
Well, people who are bereaved, they're going through shock, grief, all these stages of grief. And then I see these characters on TV, and they don't give away any of what you consider to be, micro expressions or any sort of the tells that they're actually in grief. It just didn't I used to be very empathic. I'm trying to cut down on that, but I used to be able to kind of sense, somebody's state of mind when they're highly emotional. You can kind of tell, and I never got that from people on TV.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, have you heard or come across? I think it was Super Recognizer who promulgated this. The idea that Martin Luther King's death was not only staged, but he was repurposed, coming back as Don King.
Yeah. I'm not a big repurposer guy, so I'm going to say probably not. I don't think there's any need to repurpose some of these world acting characters. So my default is always no. Just like my default is auto hoaxing. I don't think they bring them back.
Do you think that entire line of thinking could be misinformation?
I think it's blackwashing our
blackwashing.
I think it's blackwashing our community, really, because it's really on its face ridiculous and a waste of time. And it's on its face, there are no real similarities between all the characters they say get recycled.
The only one that I think has any real legitimacy is Yuri Gagarin and Neil Armstrong. There's an interesting kind of linkage there.
They look similar. Yeah, they do.
And they fulfilled similar historic roles. But no, I don't think it's necessarily a viable explanation for any of these things. And it's definitely probably not the case with most of the ones that we've been presented with.
Yeah, I have Frank on Thursdays, and I thought he was joking for the first couple of years when he said that JFK came back as Jimmy Carter. They're pretty different.
That was Dallas Goldbug.
Dallas Goldbuggery. That's right. That's right. He's the one. But Dallas Goldbug, I think, gave us truths with nonsense. For instance, he's the one that said that these actors, politicians, they don't use their real names, and that sort of absolves them for whatever they're doing because they're not who they say. They don't sign their real corporate names on anything. And in Barry Soetoro's case, they just change it right outright
I
to
think he had the big picture right. He coined the phrase actor-driven reality,
yeah.
but I think he might have been fed some misinfo. He may not have been the person chart. Maybe he wasn't aware, but whatever the case, I think that line of thinking might have been to occult the truth about hyper-realistic masks, which were still
Yeah.
classified at that time.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I think those are a real thing, hyper realistic masks for sure. I was just watching one of the shows with Jim Rizzoli and that Cynthia girl who's been on my show, who believes Paul was Fall, the McCartney Beatles conspiracy that I've talked about a couple times with her. And she said there was a case where somebody wore a hyper realistic mask when they were in a commission of a crime. And that was an issue that they said, well, it wasn't me, or it wasn't that guy was wearing a hyper realistic mask. So I
One
don't
thing
know.
it tells us, though,
Yeah.
is that the technology for creating a fake person has existed long before generative AI.
Yeah.
And it suggests that there are people who have been a part of our collective worldview of popular people, celebrities, politicians who don't actually exist.
Yeah. For a long time. Yeah. That's for sure.
And you have to really look at these videos to see what's possible with a little bit, different false teeth, prosthetic nose. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. And you look at someone like Charlie Kirk, who doesn't look like any other human being. And
Mhm.
I'm thinking, could this have been a construct with some kind of a mask? And why would they do that? Well, possibly because he's going to be fake killed early.
Yeah. Yeah. And if the guy wants to be repurposed, if that is the case, or do another acting gig or whatever.
Okay, here's what I do agree with.
Mhm.
Timothy McVeigh becomes Special Agent Paul Weissapal in Florida.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that. That's not too bad because, yeah, we didn't really know Timothy McVeigh. He came onto the scene, did this, the psyop was done, and then he was gone. So we didn't have much time to adjust to him. Whereas JFK, being Jimmy Carter, well, JFK was everywhere. We had a million angles of him, and none of them matched Jimmy Carter. But yeah, the other one where we didn't know either of the two, they could have been interchanged, I suppose.
Well, Timothy McVeigh is relevant right now because, of course, his attack was based on the Turner Diaries.
Mm-hmm.
And the Turner Diaries is about a white nationalist uprising. And it begins after the, quote, turning point, which happens after their leader is martyred. And I think there's a connection between Turning Point USA and the platforming of the Turner Diaries, the whole concept. It's interconnected.
Yeah.
Especially when you get into Waco. You know who got their start in Waco? When the Branch Davidian compound burned, the ATF takes it down.
That was
Not
Alex
just
Jones.
Alex Jones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure. Yeah. But I don't think he's Bill Hicks.
No, that's another one. And he helped foment that, as did Kevin Booth.
Yes.
But no, I don't think that's possible because that would make Alex Jones, like, right now we're looking at him. I think he's like 52 or something. That would put him in his 60s. And I see him doing push-ups with Russell Brand on his back. I kind of doubt he's in his late 60s.
Yeah, it's just everything's a little bit off. They're similar, but not the same. Similar does not mean the same. There's similarities.
There's a trick here too. When you put two photos next to each other, if they're close, and the premise is set that it's the same person, your mind
Merges
can actually synthesize them. Like when you're watching animation, you're looking at a sequence of images, but your mind connects them. And it could be simply that we're tricking it can trick you into seeing something that's not there.
Well, yeah, you're looking for similarities. So your mind overlooks a lot of things that are contrary to what it's looking at.
But we explore all these avenues and then we rule them out as we figure out that they're not actually viable. And so I've gone through all these various, death faker scenarios. And I think there's a lot of misinformation in there, but still, I'm going to look deeper into it. But I look at the MLK thing as just another staged historic event that was that fits the same template as every other staged historic fake event / assassination.
Yeah, it was a big template back in the day, and it worked. And why not keep repeating whatever template works? JFK, RFK, MLK. It's just
Well, there's also some like subtext. There's king symbolism, like JFK, Camelot, Rodney King, MLK. The king stuff is something that I think is part of the more esoteric subtext to these events. But as far as today being MLK Day, it's interesting that Don Lemon, who's not really working for CNN anymore, I think he's independent. But I've been looking at Don Lemon because there's this show that came out a couple years ago called The Madness. And it's about a tech billionaire based on Musk who funds Nazis and steals the election. And he gets taken out by an armed Antifa. Well, anyway, the main character is this disgraced journalist who's now independent. And he's obviously based on Don Lemon. And I think they even jokingly call him Don Lemonade. And this Don Lemon character gets scapegoated for killing a white nationalist. And then the neighborhoods actually protect him because they think that what he did was good. Now, the point of it is Don Lemon just led a mob into a church and they interrupted a church service. And that's one of these things you can't really do with potentially like a year in prison. It's kind of a big deal, but he was the instigator behind this thing. And I thought it's kind of interesting that we have this, this former CNN person getting involved in this political agitation and going into a church. And so I'm just making this sort of a prediction here based on The Madness that the left will stand by him and defend him because that's the character in the movie. Don Lemon is this person defending the lower class against the CEOs, against the fascists. And so he's fighting the class war. So what he did is going to be looked at as noble by his side. Just a prediction. I don't know if you saw that video today.
No, where was that?
In Minnesota.
Okay, I'll have to look at that. I did not see that anywhere.
Yeah,
is it on your X?
It is on my X, and I'm pretty sure it's going to blow up because they're going to charge him with I think it's called the KKK Act or something. But yeah, he sent a mob into a church, and it's called the KKK Act. Makes it illegal to intimidate people who are in church. And they went into a church and they were just screaming at people. But everything about it, to me, it looks like a bunch of crisis actors. It looks like provocateurs. But one of the organizers from BLM is a reverend. And there's no way a reverend would not know that you can't just go interrupt church services. So this is like a major provocation. I haven't really ever seen anything like it.
Okay, I'm going to look now.
There it is. DOJ is going to charge Don Lemon under the Ku Klux Klan Act.
Okay, I've never even heard of that. Let's see. Okay, let's play a bit of this.
There. And we will pursue charges in this case. I see various crimes that have occurred. Exactly what they are, I'm not going to flag, but the FACE Act has been mentioned as one of the predicates there. In other cases, the Biden DOJ used the Klan Act conspiracy charges tacked on to the FACE Act in the case of protests outside abortion clinics to bring much longer sentences. So there are a number of tools available to us. Who funded this? What else? What other crimes may have occurred?
He's talking to? Is she an attorney general of some state?
I believe that's the case.
Yeah. By the way, I wanted to point out further to my point about not using real names, Martin Luther King Sr. changed his and his son's name from Michael to Martin Luther as a tribute to the Protestant Reformation leader Martin Luther, whose life and teaching deeply impressed him during a 1934 trip to Germany for a Baptist World Alliance meeting. Moved by Luther's example, he adopted the reformer's name for himself and later for his young son, expressing admiration for Luther's courage in standing up to powerful authorities on matters of justice and faith. And although the names were used informally from the 1930s, Martin Luther King Jr.'s birth certificate was not officially amended from Michael to Martin Luther until 1957. So I'd contend that Martin Luther King died, but Michael King Jr. did not.
Right. Yeah, I think there may be something to what Goldbug said about
Yeah.
essentially actors. Like, when I'm looking at these, like Erica Kirk's half sister claims that she was never pregnant, and showed the video where Erica Kirk is getting her ultrasound, and it looked fake. There was something fake in the way the name was written, didn't look authentic.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, these are actors. These are soap opera actors on the world stage.
Well, especially if you believe that Erica is not a woman. Yeah, it'd be really hard to give birth, despite what the woke left wants us to believe. So there's that, if you buy into that idea, which is possible.
Hey, how old was Martin Luther when he posted the 95 Theses on the door of the Castle Church in Wittenberg?
33?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that could be another story, huh?
We got to quarantine the 33-year-olds. That's how we bring about world peace, because they're always the S disturbers.
I see 33s and 11s and 65s and 9s and 19s everywhere. Every little story, even just local financial fraud stories. I like those stories. And I just see the numbers all the time. And it makes me wonder, okay, are you bending the story to insert the numbers, or is the whole story fake? Doesn't matter what the story's about. When you see the numbers recurring, you just have to ask, is this just another made up story? And what laws do you want to pass next?
We've just picked up on code, on internal communications, and we have a perspective that insiders have. If you're an insider, you open the newspaper and you know what the agenda is by reading between the lines, reading the signals, and that's kind of what we're picking up on. Have you been keeping up with Renee Good?
Oh, not really. Is that story still relevant?
Well, here's the thing about it. In the church, they were like, we're in here for Renee Good. And I went to go see the second part of the Wizard of Oz movie, Wicked, because part 2 is called For Good. And the whole subtext is basically the animals and munchkins are being thrown out of Oz by the fascist wizard, and the Wicked Witch is trying to save them. And it basically mirrors the left Antifa defending immigrants against ICE. And Trump is the Wizard of Oz. Oz is America. And the name of the victim, Renee Good, and then the show called For Good has multiple overlaps where, the second part of the Wizard of Oz is referencing Renee Good and the idea of sacrificing the self for the collective to save the animals and munchkins from the fascist wizard who doesn't have any real powers, and the news is fake.
Busy says she wasn't pregnant because she has crisis actor kids. Well, yeah, I think it's a crisis actor family. Anyone see the rehearsal with Nathan Fielder on HBO? He literally hires children to play his son to see what it's like to be a father. Okay, yeah.
Oh, Erica Kirk's been connected with some stuff for some time. If you saw in 2010, she was part of a movie called Black Start about EMPs. Her dad has the Prepper Emporium, like EMP, and they really emphasized blackouts. And then she was in a 2012 November Renaissance as a sniper on a roof. And these are all CIA connected documentaries, military base. These are like created on military bases. I mean, really, she's been created. I think this is a persona, and her character is she's an asset of the deep state taking over TPUSA, and she seduced Charlie, and he got killed, and she was part of it. That's the mainstream conspiracy version.
Okay, here's your Erica Kirk.
Already tells you something. And from everything we can see, they're completely estranged. But here's the key point. This half-sister isn't some internet rumor. She's real. And we know that for a fact because the paperwork exists. Divorce documents.
She's real. I love when they have to tell you that.
Right. It was totally real. It wasn't like a movie. It wasn't a drill. Whenever they say it wasn't a drill, I'm like, okay, so it was a drill. Did you catch that thing about Christian Kirk? This is just like we've seen this before. There's a football game. There's a Houston Texan. His name is Christian Kirk. And there's a guy on ESPN, some sports channel, accidentally calls him Charlie Kirk. Well, everyone's like, that's just a coincidence. Well, no, it was a 33-yard pass. Christian Kirk caught it.
Did you post this? Is this one here?
Yeah, I think there's a link there. And it was, the final score was 30-6. So it's like 30-6. So I made that in.
Okay.
Charlie getting beamed in the neck by a football. But the thing is, that night, the Houston Texans tweeted an image of Christian Kirk.
Okay.
And he's holding his hand to his neck, exactly where Charlie got shot. It's very blatant.
Did you post that one?
Yeah, it's on my Substack, Tim Ozman-Substack.
Okay.
And it's just another example of how
that's crazy.
Drilling the same. This is not the first time. They did it with Alejandro Kirk. They called him a pain in the neck. He was the guy whose baseball bat broke.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, we talked about that one.
Yeah, so this is the same thing, but now it's in football, but it's the same thing.
Okay, where is the one you just talked about with the football?
Okay, it's one of the recent posts.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's called Predictive Programming in Sports.
Okay, I see the Wicked for Renee Good.
Oh, it's at Tim Ozman.substack. Is that the right
Oh,
one?
you got two of them.
Yeah, the Tim Ozman one is where I go into more of the deconstruction, and the other one's for archives. But yeah, PSYOP Programming in Sports. It's that one there. See where his hand is on the bottom left?
Okay, wow.
Christian Kirk. And it looks like his fingers are in his neck, like he's plugging a hole. I mean, what the hell is that image? It's ominous.
That's what we saw. We saw Charlie Kirk catch 8 receptions for 144 yards.
Yeah.
We saw
Christian Kirk. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Oh, I'm sure.
That's a fake faux pas.
That's a fake faux pas. Yeah, I agree.
He caught it at 144 yards. I'm like, wait, how far away was the alleged sniper who shot him? 144 yards? Probably.
Yeah, no doubt. Christian Kirk is having quite a game with that last 33-yard reception. He's put to 144. Okay, that's amazing.
Yeah, then he threw in the final score, 30-6, and that was the type of weapon that was used against Kirk.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay, these are not coincidences. And I thought I was open to the possibility it was a coincidence, but then I see them tweet this image of Christian Kirk with his hand to his neck. And I'm like, okay, what the hell were we actually seeing?
Even though that's a Nike swoosh, it looks like a sort of a blood thing there.
Doesn't it? It looks like blood gushing out. That was my thoughts too.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Who made this graphic?
The Houston Texans actually posted it right after the game.
Okay. Jeez.
Yeah.
PSYOP Entertainment Complex includes the NFL, huh? Well, it should make sense.
In that article, if you scroll down, I have references to Alejandro Kirk where they called him a, quote, pain in the neck. And look at the Gatorade or whatever liquid that is gushing out of his neck. Hilarious.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, if you're not looking for it, you wouldn't have seen it. But yeah, of course.
Yeah, well, this technique of a fake faux pas, I've seen this.
Yeah.
During the America Fest, they would have these, like, Erica Kirk would be like, she's like, I'm so thankful for this grift. I mean, all these gifts. And then Nicki Minaj is saying to her that they're so lucky to have this assassin, J.D. Vance. And Erica Kirk just was like, yeah, I respect what you're saying. And I'm like, wait a minute, assassin, grift. And then essentially there's like 4 of them I was noticing where, yeah, they're constantly just dropping these slips of the tongue, these Freudian slips. And I'm like, no, this is clickbait. This is meant to get your attention.
Yeah, 144,000 raptured. So that 144 is a actual important number in numerology, I suppose.
Yeah, that could
Biblical.
be. I
Yeah.
mean, we're still decoding it. You know, what is the whole meaning behind this Charlie Kirk thing? But the creation of a martyr is kind of what we're talking about. That's what makes it sort of relevant here. Because even right after the squibbing of Kirk, there were comparisons to MLK.
Very good.
Thank you, Outlaws. Appreciate that. Thank you for feeding the Kraftgwin. Got a super chat.
Oh, wonderful. Now, I don't have super chats, but I do have fakeologist.com/donate. Not that I'm grifting, but I'll just point it out there for anyone who wants to send me a Satoshi. I put 2 new graphics up that are easy to scan. And all you do is load up your whatever wallet has Bitcoin, and you can send using the Lightning network instantly to my Lightning wallet. It's instant. There's no fees. There's no transaction charges, and it goes right through. So you just have to let me know who it is because it's anonymous.
Well, people should want to support this and not do anyway, because what we're doing is we're branching off of alt media. We have, but we're establishing a separate platform that includes media fakery analysis. And at some point, I think we're going to see an exodus, like a large number of people who've already seen through 90% of the BS in alt media, just looking for something or finding this. And I think that will bring about a lot of support for what we do and content creators doing the same exact thing.
Well, I'm still waiting for a big revelation of or a big rush, but I'm not seeing it. But I like your optimism.
Well, what we're working on now in the Discord server, I'm calling it the Great Deconstruction. I set up a new forum, and we're breaking down every psyop of the last 100 years, putting them on a timeline, connecting them to the relevant predictive and concurrent programming, and then listing and connecting all of the meta scripters. So what we're showing here are the 2 timelines, the timeline of fake stuff and the real world, which are then fused together in the minds of the masses. And I think that when I break this down with my whiteboards I'm working on, I think it'll reach people. So I don't think that it's going to grow organically because people don't know, because we're marginalized and there's this duopoly, alt and mainstream. But yeah, I'm actually planning for it. It's not even optimism. I think it's just a matter of creating a significant market disruption and then having a landing spot for the people who break away. And I see that happening in the next few months. You're going to start to see this avalanche.
Okay, I'm showing Tim Ozman's Discord right now. It's called the IPS Think Tank. And if you want to join it, you go to ips.monster and there's a link there. Does that sound right?
Yep. And at the top of the text channels, I have the Great Deconstruction. And so we're breaking down not only events, but fake people. Like I did a breakdown here of recent movies, like movies in the last year, where there's an Elon Musk-like character who has some kind of plot to use disinformation or mind viruses to destroy the world. And there's 4 different examples: the Mountainhead, Naked Gun, Superman, and then you can add in the Madness, where the predictive programming character that represents Elon Musk is portraying him in a very specific way. Like all the predictive programming for Donald Trump are associated with 9/11 or survived assassination. For example, Back to the Future, Biff Tannen, Donald Trump, and 9/11 is encoded into that movie. And by the way, at the Trump Kennedy Center in July, there's going to be a performance of the play Back to the Future.
Wow. That's amazing.
But you can run down the list. Name a movie that has a Donald Trump character based on Trump, admittedly, and you'll find the same kind of themes. For example, Super Mario Brothers, the Twin Towers melt. Gremlins 2. You got the guy Crumps based on Trump, 9/11 stuff.
Did you ask the AI about that? That sounds like a good thing to ask it.
Well, I'm using AI to cite my sources. So I actually asked the AI earlier today. I said, in these 4 movies, analyze these 4 characters as they relate to Trump, and it broke it down. So it's like Superman, Lex Luthor, media tech manipulation against Superman, turns society against the protector, manages reality. I watched Naked Gun recently. The villain, Richard Kane, controls the electric vehicle market. He's basically Musk, and he has a device that will go through people's phones, hijack their minds, and make them violent. Mountainhead came out last year. The character Venus is based on Elon, and he's got some social media platform, and his generative AI is causing society to fall apart. And then in the madness, it's the tech billionaire funding the Nazis who steals the election. Same theme with all these characters that are based on Musk. And I've seen this pattern throughout every one of these examples. And so what we're doing is we're systematizing our research.
Wow, that's amazing. So this is all a new thread you created on your IPS thing.
Yeah, and once we have the major psyops of the last 100 years, we're going to be putting this into a Wikipedia-like format where you have the mainstream version, the alternative version, and then this off-world stage perspective. And this is what I mean by landing spot. Like there has to be a place for people who look in our direction to go and say, hey, these people have a point. They've got receipts. Because to me, this is irrefutable.
So this is
watch every playoff game.
Touchdown! Yeah, that's
now at DAZN.com.
Score big time savings with Sonnet Insurance.
Oh, I guess I got to sit through ads when
Adult
I'm in Discord.
In SNL, you had Elon Musk as Wario, and so he's this evil villain, Musk. And this is before he got into the White House, before he was villainized, and before they started attacking Tesla centers. But here he is as Wario.
This is difficult.
And guess who tries to kill him? Luigi.
Oh boy.
So in the madness, the Musk-like character is killed by an Antifa type, a Luigi Mangione type.
Another fictional character.
Yeah.
And is the person who threw the banana peel present in the courtroom?
Now, there's some symbolism with Luigi and the color green that ties into the left wing. Like green hair of Joker, kill the rich. The Wicked Witch, green skin, fighting the fascist Wizard of Oz. And this goes pretty deep. It even encapsulates people like Mark Ruffalo, Trump deranged, plays the character Marshall in Mickey 17, who survives an assassination attempt. Bullet grazes his cheek. He's the Hulk. You know, this green code is consistently tied to a leftist uprising. And in the madness, which has a Musk-like character who gets killed by a Luigi before Luigi's even a thing, in the madness, you have this Antifa with meth, or Antifa on meth and Uzis. That's kind of this. It's about this violent uprising of the far left. And we kind of see all this sort of coalescing right now around Renee Good.
Yeah, interesting with the color.
All right, let the record show that the witness has indicated Wario, the evil Mario.
Objection!
I'm sorry, the other Mario.
The prosecution rests, Your Honor.
He a monster! Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
I think at the end of the clip, Luigi is about to throw a turtle shell at him. So you have the foreshadowing of Luigi assassinating the evil CEO Musk. And then...
And hopefully, so do I.
This has been a message from the Italian-American Anti-Defamation.
Somebody in a Cybertruck blows himself up outside of a Trump tower. So that the Cybertruck, Musk, Trump Tower, Trump.
Yeah, I
the guy
remember
was
that.
a, quote, green beret.
Wow. This
Like
is
Luigi,
deep with all
green
the...
beret.
Oh, there's your turtle or whatever it is.
Hello, I'm Governor Andrew Cuomo.
They stop him before he does it, but you can see that this is before Musk was under attack. This is before the No Kings protest.
Yeah.
But it's the same theme. So the green is always associated with class warfare and the left attacking the capitalists.
Interesting. Wow, right into the colors. It's amazing. That's deep.
Well, yeah, that's one of the things I've been trying to get this information organized for, is that we're noticing these big patterns. Like, for example, Nick Reiner, stabs his parents. And then you have Nicholas Maduro arrested. He's got the Nike. And then you've got, the Nike sweatsuit that goes viral and everybody buys it. Then you have Renee Nicole Good. So we're looking at what's the significance of the name Nick that keeps popping up. Well, Nicholas means victory. Nike, goddess of victory. So I don't know what it all means, but it's like there's a prevalence of the name Nick and the association here. See, I don't know exactly what, but what are these patterns for?
No, that's true. I never thought of all those Nicks. Wow.
Yeah, and I was like, that's too conspicuous to ignore. And so this etymology is victory. And I thought they made a big deal about Maduro wearing Nikes, which means victory. So what is the code here?
Okay, so you also have a Donald Trump Metascript deconstruction. And you just started that one?
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's a host of characters that represent Trump that are noticed by the media or even acknowledged by the creators as representing Trump. And I'm like, why is it that in these Trump characters, you always have the 9/11 connection or an assassination attempt survival? And that's pretty much through and through. There's a couple exceptions. There's Civil War, where the Trump guy dies. And there might be, then there's Trackdown. But Trackdown 1958 does have Trump building the wall and does have him getting arrested.
Yeah. And Trump's ear got nicked by Kevin Mooring. That's funny. All right,
Yeah.
we got a caller in here.
Hold time 1 minute 19 seconds.
All right, caller, I'll let you introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm John the Beggar from the South Shore of the St. Lawrence Seaway.
John, how are you doing? How did you like your picture I put in the last show notes? Did you see it?
I haven't gotten to that yet. I'm going to. though.
Fakeologist.blog, fakeologist.com/blog. Check it out.
Blog? Okay, I shall do that. I was really interested in the guest's point of view of having that 3 different things, the mainstream narrative, the alt media, and then ours. I think that's a really good idea.
You think that'll be compelling to bring people in? Because I think we can bring in thousands of people into this
I think it
area.
will, because if you say there's 3 different ways of looking at it, take a look at these 3 opinions and which one do you think is true? And if they read all 3 of them, I think some of them will begin to move over. It takes a while, though. It took me a while. And probably the last one to go was the John Kennedy assassination on me.
Well, that's what I think needs to be done. I think that in order to, I do think the whole if you build it, they will come thing works. I think if we build the off-world stage perspective and you get a big enough crowd and people look in this direction, and the first thing we show them is, hey, look at the Great Deconstruction. It's an encyclopedia of fake events in the last 100 years, separated from...
I looked at the Fakeologist website many years ago, and it intrigued me. And I looked at some of the possibilities, but I said, no. But it got me hooked, and this may take a few years. These people may come for a look, and then they may not come back for 3 or 4 or 5 years, or maybe as little as 1. But I think it's a real step in the right direction. I think you're spot on, my friend.
I think you're right about a large number in a few years, but I think that anybody who noticed or talked about the Charlie Kirk squib theory would likely be close enough to just jump on board. And I plan to reach them using AI agents on X, where I will program an AI agent to go to every single person who used the word squib in the context of a Charlie Kirk thread. And it will go through these things like, as bots do, and send them our way.
Oh, right. I know what you mean. There's the conspiracy bot. Have you seen that one on X?
Yeah. I've learned. I have bots ready to go. I've got an army of. They're not even just bots; they're AI agents. But I have a plan to target market people based on the ideas that they've discussed on X, and I do think we can reach the people who are 80% of the way out of the Truman Show.
So we could,
You know, there was a website years ago. He had this strange looking character on it, and the guy had so many different channels, and they kept knocking him down. And he would go to the people search websites, and he said that Martin Luther King was now living under Michael King, and that he was living in Nevada. And he showed relatives and relationships, and I don't doubt it, and that at all. That it was just all a fake event, which means Jesse Jackson is fake, and so are all these other people.
You were around for that, weren't you?
Yes, I was.
And
When
at the
these events
time,
actually happened.
did it totally
No.
trauma-based mind control you?
It was just something that was on the TV after being trauma-based mind control by JFK's assassination. And all this stuff. It just, I think I just believed everything. I was a real news junkie. You describe yourself,
Yes.
psychologist, as once being
Absolutely.
that. So I was too, and I thought I was getting good information, but I'm not. It's just nonsense. And as far as Rodney King, I believe that was Charlie Murphy, Eddie Murphy's brother, with a latex mask on.
Maybe.
Have you heard though that in Nevada you can fake your death? That it's legal as long as you're not committing fraud.
I think it's legal everywhere to do that. Because there's a guy, Tim Richmond. He was racing NASCAR for a little while. And then he started complaining that the races were rigged. They suspended him. They allowed him to come back. He won 2 or 3 races. And then they suspended him again for failing a drug test. And then pretty soon, I know some people who claim they saw him. And I also, one time I thought I saw him at a Myers with some people that he was always with. And I have no doubt he didn't die and nothing illegal was done.
By the way, Tim Ozman, there's a X channel called Daily Squibs. Have you seen it?
No, I'm glad you brought that up. I just saw the clips of Daily Squibs.
Every day he puts a new squib shot from a movie. That's so funny.
Now, squibs, we think of squibs as, spraying blood, but the Matrix movie was done with a lot of squibs, and they can just be like you shoot a wall or you shoot a glass, you shoot a windshield.
Yeah.
And so when you look at something like the Renee Good, where the guy's shooting the vehicle,
yeah,
that's probably a squib in the glass.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Who knew? There's a lot of violent movies with full of squibs. There you go. Ooh, squib. So you can get all the squibs you can eat.
Like guns are such a character in these movies. Like leading up to 9/11, I noticed that there's a lot of movies with like explosions, a lot of jet fuel, like Die Hard. Like there's always things exploding.
Yeah.
And I think that was preconditioning us for the idea of planes that melt buildings. And then I look at the prevalence of movies where it's basically guns. Everybody's got a gun, and most of the actors in these roles that are gun happy are in real life anti-gun. I'm like, that's kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting. Are they?
What are they doing with that?
Well, maybe reverse psychology or something.
Yeah, like exactly,
like psychology.
Exaggerating the power of it, exaggerating the threats.
Yeah. I'll put a link to this channel on X, the Daily Squib. So if you want to see movie highlights with squibs, you be there till the cows come home. I don't know if these go far back, 80s, 70s.
No, this is good. I'm working on a ebook right now called Charlie Kirk is Alive, Squibs and the Art of Psywar. And it's about 45 pages, and I plan to have it ready this week. But Charlie Kirk is Alive, Squibs and the Art of Psywar. I'll probably even read it as an audiobook on YouTube, but it's basically about how the thing was faked, why I believe so, and it goes into the use of squibs, how they operate. And someone posted a video where, if you look right before he's shot, Charlie flinches, like before he's even shot. And he flinches in a very interesting way, like he's bracing. And it looks like perhaps he was bracing for the squib. where it does explode under your shirt.
It was pre-squib.
Yeah.
That was like in Hollywood where they would show you the preview to the TV show Kojak, and he would always duck from bullets. They'd have him ducking down and shooting. And it just reminds me how fake everything is.
Interesting.
And also, have you ever looked into Mary Martin? She was an actress, mother of Larry Hagman, and she looks exactly like Jimmy Carter's mother, Miss Lillian. Just exactly like, and my parents used to believe that was her.
Okay,
And
I know you
we have
brought
talked
that up.
about
You brought that
Jimmy
up a few
Carter.
times.
Yeah, and how the city of Plains, Georgia is like a cutout. It's shaped in the shape of a key. I mean, where is there a town that's shaped like that? Round edges. It's just, and I believe sometimes that Jimmy Carter was being played by Larry Hagman with a face mask on.
Okay.
Because I know sometimes his hair was parted one way and sometimes it was parted the other. And that is strange. And there's a book, what is it, Splitting Image, by that lawyer from out on the West Coast. I can't remember her name, Cynthia something. And she goes into various world leaders and how they use doubles and everything else. And one of them was showing Jimmy Carter 2 different ways with his hair parted.
Interesting.
And it was just something else to think about.
Well, I think the case has been made that we are already in a deep faked reality, and we were deep faked with spycraft, with propaganda, and hyper realistic masks. And these things, we say hyper realistic masks, but now it's body suits, it's muscle suits, it's hands. So you got like completely different hands. And it's so realistic now, it's indistinguishable from the real thing. Like the muscle suits, why even bother going to the gym? You can literally just put it on like a sweater, and it looks real. It's even got pores and blemishes.
And they can make a person look real fat that's real skinny.
Yeah. Yeah. You can get what do they call it? A lift, a Brazilian buttocks lift. I mean, anything. It's like, everything is fakeable. It already was for decades. So there's no need for alarmism
again,
about
maybe
AI.
the theory.
Yeah, you could spend all day searching for squibs on X. Do you spend a lot of time on X? Because there's a lot of material on there, isn't there?
I do use it as a source,
Mm-hmm.
and it's actually pretty good if you're looking for video clips. You can pretty much find anything, and it's improving. Did you hear what Elon Musk said about politicians being actors?
No. Is that on X?
Yeah, I'll retweet it on X. He said, politicians are actors on the stage. You don't see the script writers, directors, or producers who control them.
Very true. And you don't see the writers and the directors that control rich people like Elon Musk.
It's an interesting deflection that he says it as though he's not one of them. I mean, I imagine there's some duper's delight behind that tweet.
Are you retweeting that now?
Yeah. So Diana Southhart says The Rock is the rubber. So I had this theory that The Rock has been wearing a rubber suit for years because he cares about longevity. He wants to live a long time, so he can't use these performance enhancing drugs to maintain this build that you can't maintain. You know, these bodybuilders today with these things, they look like pregnant monsters, and it's just not healthy. You die young. And so I was suggesting that after he left wrestling, he suddenly blew up. He got much bigger. And I thought when The Rock left wrestling, he probably started wearing a muscle suit. Well, then there's this new movie. He gets lauded as being a great actor because he lost 60 pounds for the role. And at the same exact time, The Rock loses 60 pounds for this role and he's skinny, Glenn Powell shows up in a football movie, and he's on the cover of GQ because of his muscle suit. And I'm like, that's weird. His hyper-realistic muscle suit, did he borrow it from The Rock? But the timing of it was just absolutely bizarre. And he played this football player, which that whole movie had some real life counterparts in the NFL. But again, Glenn Powell in a muscle suit at the same time that The Rock is being described as an exceptional actor for losing 60 pounds. And I'm like, he just took off the rubber.
So here's your retweet here. And he's retweeting Mario Nawfal. Tucker, Starmer, clearly taking orders, not adequate as leader. And that's that Eva Vlardingbroek saying, oh, she's not allowed to go to England. Okay. So there you go. Tucker is definitely a world actor as well.
Tucker is an
actor too. He was the voice of Radio America, wasn't he? Or Air America? Radio America. Radio Free Europe, wasn't he?
Well, he also survived an attack by a demon in his bed, and he has scars on his back, allegedly.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw Tucker's dad in a movie that I didn't even know was Tucker's dad until later. It was some crazy movie about someone who invented a yellow 3-wheeled car or something. I think it was called Yellow Motors or something. I don't know why I watched that movie, but Tucker Carlson's dad was in that as a reporter.
Okay. Well, his CIA dad.
Yes, CIA. Well, yeah, no, I think it was his actual bio dad. Hey, we got Lucas in the chat. Lucas, we got about 5 more minutes. So, what do you got? Lucas is in the chat. Hey,
good to talk to you. Oh, good. Happy to celebrate Martin Luther King Day.
Oh yeah, we haven't talked to him in a while. Talked about him in a while.
Yeah. So this is a random story, but when I was growing up, we were doing a trip down south, and I remember seeing some graffiti on a bathroom stall. Someone wrote KKK, and somebody else, or maybe the same person, I don't know, but they wrote Kennedy, King, Kennedy. And with like the new eyes on the psyops and like all the numerology and stuff, I'm thinking, man, that's a 311 right there. You got the triple K, and that was those were the big assassination, like heartstring pulling psyops back in the 60s. And so I was just wondering what y'all's thoughts were on that. I mean, I know the fakeologist line is that they're all fake, but it seems like they really did manufacture these martyrs back then.
And they manufactured a new one, Charlie Kirk.
Oh,
yeah, with CK. You got the CK too.
Well, the official conspiracy is that the FBI killed him. That's the official conspiracy, is it not?
Yes. Yeah, that's the official that he was the FBI set him up or they killed him. That's now right now the KKK's in the news because Don Lemon's being charged. They're bringing up the KKK Act, interestingly. But I don't know if this is true, but you mentioned the numbers. I heard it many times said that Albert Pike, the guy who wrote the Masonic degrees 4 to 33, was one of the creators of the Klan. I don't know if that's true, but
he created it. It's a military intelligence project.
But I'm like, okay, it's interesting because again,
Martin Luther King Jr. was a completely made-up character created by the FBI. And I know I'm going to get so much hate for this, but you cannot deny this is not the truth because this is coming directly from the unclassified files that President Trump released. This is directly from the FBI website that is vault.fbi.gov.
You heard about this one?
No, this is good.
It's not hard to find, is it? Just type in MLK assassination hoax. You'll get our show. I did use a little clickbait tonight just for fun. And yeah.
This is where the unclassified document on Martin Luther King Jr., his image, and his assassination is uploaded. Just in the first 5 pages, it completely reveals how Martin Luther King Jr. was selected to be the activist leader and how they pushed it through mainstream media news to create their narrative. It states right there in the middle, I know it's kind of hard to read because the files are old. It says Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. was the target of an intensive campaign by the FBI to neutralize him as an effective civil rights leader. And it also says this and other testimony describing this FBI counterintelligence campaign against King reached the public through the news media.
Now, is the FBI really doing this, or is this the CIA? They never. The CIA doesn't always gets off on these stories, but this seems like conspiracy candy to me. That's my.
It pretty much is, although COINTELPRO is what she's talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like world stage conspiracy.
Okay.
Where they conspired to kill him, not he was not actually killed. It was an old act. So it's still behind their the wall of their Truman shows. It's still a fake conspiracy.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So that they want that story out there.
Yes, absolutely.
I remember too, when I was in kindergarten, they had I remember them showing on whatever the nightly news was. MLK's son was being interviewed, and he was saying, "Oh, I don't think it was really James Earl Ray. I think it was this other guy that worked for the CIA." So like they were doing the conspiracy candy back then too. When like the guy's whole persona is a cutout. Like you said, his name is fake. He didn't write his own speeches or anything. And yeah, I mean, what the eyewitness is Jesse Jackson, who's like a acknowledged Freemason, and just like the whole thing is fake.
Always the second shooter. The second shooter opens up the door to conspiracy theories, false flags, FBI. Yep. Same thing with Charlie Kirk, although they went overboard with the second shooter thing.
Yeah,
I think Malcolm X is fake too. Like I see him doing a lot of Masonic poses, and you look into Louis Farrakhan, and I mean you can find images of him wearing the Masonic garb. He was supposedly into Scientology, some other weird stuff too. So like something stinks about any big name person that they're willing to cover and that they turn into these martyrs. I always got to question it.
Did you know that it says here MLK was stabbed with a sharpened letter opener, or are there any other kind, in 1958 by a crazy black woman? That was 10 years before. So is that more conditioning?
Interesting. Had not heard that.
He said they found there's the picture of the letter opener. He looks like he's just laying there relaxing, and she's reading his palm. But here's the letter opener stuck in his lapel. Anyway.
Well, that was a couple months before they took out RFK.
Mm-hmm.
And RFK was driven to the Ambassador Hotel by the Hollywood director John Frankenheimer, who directed the Manchurian Candidate about mind-controlled assassins. RFK gets killed by a mind-controlled assassin. So I'm looking at it in context, and there's no reason for me to start off with, oh, it must be real. It's obviously engineered, and the conspiracy theory they give us, the FBI did it, is to conceal and occult the fact that he's a total construct and didn't even die.
And it gives people the idea too that there's like a president that's really working for them, and he's going to go up against the bad guys. Like it's a whole theater production,
You have to be part of the system to even get in there. The last guy who tried, I think, was Mike Dukakis. And I remember before the election, some lady from one of those Entertainment Tonight, she was their royal reporter. She said he wasn't going to win because he wasn't a British royal. He wasn't even a Greek royal. And they weren't going to let him win. And there's some people like Richard Charnon, a great mathematician, and other people who said the election was fixed, and I don't doubt it.
Well,
Malcolm X was shot 21 times by 3 gunmen. That's interesting.
3 7s.
Yeah, I'll have to look into these. See, this is the point of our great deconstruction project, is we're going to retro auto hoax. Hey, is somebody shuffling cards or are they hitting a bong? Mazel wants to know.
Yeah, that's John. That's John's bad phone connection, which one day he'll fix.
I thought he was shuffling cards nervously.
Another phone. It came today, so I'm going to try to put it in tomorrow.
It does sound like a bong, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it's John's drawing on his bong. All right, John, thanks a lot. We got to wrap it up. It's just over an hour, and an hour is
Thanks
good
for
enough.
having me on, guys.
Thank you, John the Beggar. Anything else, Lucas, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just real quick. You mentioned the numbers. So, of course, Kennedy, JFK, 1122. You got your 33 there. And then MLK was on April 4th, so you got your 44, which I don't know enough about numerology if that has significance. But then his brother died on June 6th, so the two numbers in a row, I don't know. It looks fishy to me.
Oh, that was 6/6. I didn't know that either. Yeah, well, hey, you know enough to see patterns.
Oh, Robert F. Kennedy. Robert F. Kennedy was killed on June 6th, or I think he was shot the night before, but he died on June 6th.
Yeah, exactly.
There you go. There's your Jesse Jackson.
The JJ too. I don't know. They love the double initial code, the double digit code. I don't know what it means, but it's fishy.
I have some theories about it. I've looked into it. For example, really quick, when Trump was in the courtroom on 4/4/23, first day in court, on that day, Joker 2 was being filmed outside the courthouse, and people thought the mob was there for Trump. Well, that was the 44th birthday posthumously of Joker actor Heath Ledger. Yeah, and so the 44 though, I think it has some symbolism having to do with the double cross, death and resurrection. But that aside, there was a lot of 44 stuff connected with the Donald Trump date, and then he was being compared to MLK. Weirdly, it was the 55th anniversary of MLK's death. There's a lot of stuff with the number 55 at that time, like Terry Nichols. They shut down I-55. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter was at his funeral. Al Sharpton read the eulogy for the guy at Mason Temple, where MLK gave his speech before he died on 4/4. So a lot of inner connections here.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot there. And we could go on for a while, but we will tell everyone to go to IPS Monster and timosman.substack.com. And the other one is what's the other one on Substack?
Yeah, so on Substack, it's timosman.substack, where I do a lot of Metascript breakdown. And then the main one is Infinite Plane Society. That's where I have the archives. The links are at ips.monster. I put all the relevant links, including you can get into Discord if you want to take part in the Great Deconstruction. Thanks for having me on again. We'll see you next week.
Yeah, I appreciate. Yeah, thanks. And make sure you support IPS at his ips.monster. Send him whenever you can. Help him out. Give the guy a break. He does a ton of research every week. It's amazing all the connections he finds in the PSYOP entertainment complex. It is truly amazing. So make sure you support him. Thanks to the great audience. Looks like we had someone scan my QR code on the screen there. Thank you for that one person. I don't know who it is, but thank you. Thank you, Lucas, for joining, and John the Beggar. Pretty big crowd tonight. We had 46 on my YouTube channel, 59 on Infinite Plane channel, and we had quite a few people, I think, on X. And thanks to my little troll there, I had 15 on my X, and Tim Ozman had 21 on his X. So well over 100 people. Of course, fakotube.com. Make sure you go to all these sites and check them out. And the show notes are going to be on fakeologist.com. I'm sure Tim Ozman will do something with the transcript, probably. I actually forgot to connect to Substack again tonight. Tim Ozman, do you connect to Substack on these things?
I haven't yet, but I will when I upgrade my plan.
You got to do it. Well, you got to do it manually. It's actually a nuisance. So
I see.
Yeah, I have to take the key from Substack, and it changes every broadcast. So I have to put a new key into Restream. And
I see. Not a persistent key.
I actually forgot about it. So.
Yeah, I think it's Let's Go 23 is donating to you under he'll put under IPS. I think he's the one who clicked your QR code.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Have a great night. Thank you, everyone, for joining in. We'll see you tomorrow. Tomorrow is Tuesday. That means Lynn Tell. And who knows what she's got. But make sure you go to the Fakeologist forums, fakeologistforums.com. And we'll see you around. All the best. Good night.